We are obtaining information from diverse intelligence sources, Rube explained, that indicates the Russians have a particular interest in this location, meaning Mount Rainier. It is common for the KGB's agents in the United States to favor such locations, such as our national parks, for contact with their assets. What are assets? Lehman asked. Spies. The Russians use dead drops to communicate. Say I am a KGB agent, and you're my asset. I set up a prearranged place where information and money can be exchanged, like beneath this big boulder we're sitting on. At the bottom of it, I will conceal a rusty old pop can. In it will be money and instructions for the next meet. Now, Lehman, it won't do in the spy business for me as your handler, Sergei cut his nuts off, to meet you directly on this boulder, right? Lehman nodded. That puts both of us together at the same time and place. That is called a live drop, by the way. In most instances, it is bad form, always risky. So, instead, I arrange a signal down near the Paradise parking lot, indicating that I have filled the dead drop located at the base of this boulder. This signal may be a small piece of surveyor's tape tied to a tree limb or a stack of orange peels next to the trail. On second thought, I wouldn't use orange peels because the damned birds and squirrels around here would steal them, but you know what I mean. Yes, Lehman said. You, Mr. Asset and Spy, drive up to the parking lot. I, Sergei, am not even in the area. I have left some hours, or even days before, to drive back to wherever the hell I came from, and am now busy writing up reports and filling out paperwork. The Russians are at least as bad as we are on that score, you know. Rube shook his head. It was evident he disdained paperwork. He continued, You, Mr. Asset, dressed all touristy, take out your binoculars and act like you are viewing the mountain. But there, on that tree 100 yards up the trail, is the surveyor's tape, fluttering ever so gaily. Rube made waves with one hand to simulate a fluttering tape. Lehman nodded. Now, Mr. Asset, you grab your little day pack, saunter along the trail up here to the boulder, dig around a little at its base, and find the rusty old pop can that we've agreed to use as a drop container. You open it, take out the money owed to you as a faithful friend of Mother Russia, and insert your next batch of stolen, classified U.S. information. You then carefully put the can back in its hiding place and walk casually back to the parking lot. But there is one more task that awaits Brad. Do you know what that is? It must have something to do with the signal, the tape? Yes, kid, precisely, Rube said, grabbing Lehman's shoulder. You first take the tape down off the tree. This, in turn, signals Mr. Cut His Nuts Off that you have cleared and refilled the drop. A day or two later, Sergei saunters back to the boulder, puts the pop can and its contents in his pack, and departs the area. And that's how a dead drop works. Clean and low risk. So that's what is going on up here? Lehman asked. Well, that's where this situation gets murky, and also where we need your help. Our independent intelligence sources point to a significant increase in interest up at Mount Rainier. We have seen dead drops here before, but they have gone dormant. There has been no activity for the past 2 years. It is as though something operationally intense is focused here, something that is of high enough importance that the Russians do not want to risk compromising it by running dead drops.